Hi there, I'm Juliana Carroll, and this is my sister and partner in Coffee and Tech, Lisa Jackson. Together, we are your hosts here at the Coffee Tech Talk Show, exploring anything and everything to do with work orchestration and automation.
One thing I want to say is today that is a lot different than now with social media. We have to be very careful on how you say things, when you say things. So that's one thing I keep saying is social media can make or break you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That is so
Yeah.
true, and we forget about that, right? And I mean, and now everybody is very hypersensitive about everything.
That's the
And
word.
then
That's
you
it.
and then when you see things being posted, I mean, and I had to restrain myself a lot of times from.
I think we all can relate.
Lou and I had this conversation before you joined us.
Okay.
Yeah, and the thing is, okay, work is work, right?
Yeah.
One of the fundamental tenets that you have to remember when you go to work is somebody is paying for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And they expect a return back from you. Know what that is, right? And so that should be your number one priority focus, but you can't, most jobs require you to be, in synchronization with other people, and work together to get something done, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is a diverse community. People will have differing opinions at work. Let's have a common aim. Let's have a common strategy, a common vision, a common, a common goal, right, for that work. Now, I think what Louis is saying is like, be careful though how you say things.
Yeah,
And be careful how you say it in social media. It's never appropriate at work, but this is a very, you say hypersensitive, I would say hyper-connected world now.
Oh, it is very hyper-connected. When I was in the 70s and 80s, forget it. You could, you could say something, nobody else heard it.
Right. Exactly.
Now everybody hears it, everybody reads it, and once it's on the World Wide Web, it's there forever, like they said, right?
Yeah.
And there was a time when we always say 2 things you don't talk about at work, and that's politics and religion.
Mm-hmm.
That's the 2 things that you never ever. What's the third?
Sex.
I was waiting for somebody to say that.
Okay, you're right. That too.
I have this sense of where somebody's coming from, and talking with them in a few conversations and understanding where they're coming from. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what you need to get, is that sense of where they're coming from and how you have to work with them and maneuver your way of thinking to them so that they can take it in and accept it. That's the biggest thing that you need to do as well. And I think
that's a good point.
It's something that takes time, and really you have to listen. You really have to listen, because if you don't listen, you're not going to catch it at all, right?
Yeah.
So and you have to stand up for yourself. If somebody is, you feel somebody's bullying you, or somebody's trying to force something on you that is not right, you either take it to them directly, or you have to step up.
Brings me to another question. You've led a lot of women and people, employees. How do you determine what's a great job or a good job well done, and how do you reward someone for that?
Well, it's one thing is a great job. First of all, did you think it was a great job within yourself, right? And if you feel that you've done the best you could in the constraints that you were given, then that, I feel, is a great job. Second of all, it's a great job when your peers recognize you and your management recognizes you on a job well done. And basically, it's the other thing is promotions, recognitions, awards. You know, I think those are things of great job. And when in our organization, and we have a couple things that we could do. I always thank everybody. I always send a note thanking them on a job that well done. Thank you for helping me. Always sending quick notes to people, or even just in an email to, if there's a lot of people, I call out people, thanking them so that others know that it wasn't just me. It took a team and individuals to do that. So those are things that I do and then we also have recognition awards that we can give out. So I give them out a lot to people that have gone over and above. And in fact, I have some that I have to do because I've had some projects just recently that people have gone above and beyond. And so we were able to give those recognitions out.
Very nice.
Yeah.
One of the things that I want to add on to that, right?
Okay.
You know, in the spirit of helping others, awarding people and recognizing people does not detract from you. If anything, it adds to you. So be ultra generous in recognizing, you know, other people helping you, right? And just imagine your day filled with, you know, requests, and then you get an inbox that says thank you, or your name is mentioned for a job well done. You know, my spine stands back up, right? Puts a smile on my face, gives me a new, renewed energy, and then it'll come back.
Yeah.
Right?
It does.
Yeah, it does. It really does. When people remember that you recognize them in the right time and opportunity, they will remember that and say, "Oh, let me remember to recognize her." Right?
Yeah.
So
It's so funny because we get our recognitions in an email. So recently I've had a project that I had to do, and it was bringing people together was like, and it was a lot of executive leaders together to get some answers done. And it was, you know, it was a month full of real stress, you know, to get this done. I was, you know, people had 6 months to do it, but it was dropped in my lap and I had a month to get it under control, right? And not only that, they wanted it done in a week.
Yes.
So anyway, you know, like last week, something came in an email and I go, "Oh, somebody got a recognition," and it was me, and I didn't even realize it was me. You know? So it happens.
Right.
You know, I don't expect recognitions. I feel like, you know, I'm paid to do a job, but you know, it's nice when you get them. So again, you got to feel comfortable with yourself. And I feel that people that don't promote other people aren't comfortable with themselves, and they're very jealous of other people, and it's just not an environment. You know?
That's right. Yep. I agree 100%. So let's talk a little bit about in your role right now. If you were needing to get a project funded internally or externally, how do you go about doing that?
Well, first we start with ideation. Okay, and somebody comes with an idea, and then we work on ideation and work on research and internal and external research. That is important, and develop a business plan. That's the most important thing, because that is a detailed roadmap of where you want to go, if it makes sense. So first we say, does it make sense? You know, and then you have to determine what your investment's going to be, the people, processes, and tools. All right. And at that point, you put that all together, but you've got to make sure your research is right. Your financials are rock solid, because the minute you falter on those financials, the whole project comes tumbling down, I think, because you know, it just, your credibility goes down. So once we get that, then we get the funding. We have to go to executives to get the funding. So that's the thing, is we have to do a presentation. You've got to make that presentation simple for them, because their day is full of a lot of different things. You got to go in there very quickly, simple, get your message across, get your funding across very simplistically, and then say, you know, give them their recommendations and get out of there. You know, once you get the recommendations and the approvals, get out of there. Don't, you know, oversell yourself.
How much internal selling do you think you do?
Oh, it's really becomes, in that fact now, the one I'm working on in pricing and things, we have to go to, sales and product side and delivery and, the support side. And, so you have to go to all the different organizations and then make sure you have buy-in from them so that you can get the buy-off from an overall standpoint.
A couple of things I get out of that and would like to highlight, right? Don't forget that you have to sell your ideas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, in selling your ideas, you have to understand who you have to sell to and their current positioning. Because if you don't understand what their point of view is, then you have no idea what to say that would resonate with them, right?
You have to know your
Yeah, and then before you go in a meeting, hopefully you have picked up the phone or in some
Don't even
way
go
have
there.
connected with those people. So be intentional in knowing that you are selling an idea continuously.
You have to have agreement before you get into that meeting,
Right.
because if you don't have agreement before you get in that meeting, you're not going to get agreement, right?
Right.
And you talked about, you maybe had 15 minutes. We have a window, in some of the cases where it's new offers, it's once a month or once every 6 weeks. And there's like maybe 7 to 10 offers, because I'm just one area. There's route switching, there's security, there's all different areas. So all these people converge to bring their funding there, the request for funding, their request for their offers. So you have maybe 15 to 30 minutes at the most to get your point across. But if you better go in beforehand, because otherwise somebody else is going to get the funding and you're not.
Yeah.
So. Right.
Wow. Okay. Very good advice. Very, very good advice. So last question for this episode. We love this question. If you had $1 million, what would you do with that? What would you do with $1 million?
I think in project, a lot of the legacy, applications, a lot of it's moving. It's these applications and the data that is run day to day that we can't easily move. How do we move them and move them, whether it's into a cloud environment, but it's how do we migrate them is the most important thing. And that's where I think a lot of money needs to be put, because we're all suffering from data all over the place. You need to get information. I need to get revenue information. I have to go to 7, 8 systems to be able to bring data together. I have to go to somebody and say, okay, can you take all this and bring it into a report? It seems like we can't get out of that mindset that we have all these silos. Let's bring them all together. So if there is a project that I was given $1 million for, I'd probably, because of reporting and because of data that's out there that is all over the place, I think that's a big project that I think we should invest in, as in our company. And I know they're trying to do it, but it's very hard to move this stuff into new applications.
You need the old and the new to work together to figure out, what's the new future forward would be, right? Because you can't move forward until you know what the old is. Yeah.
Whether you have to use new applications like maybe artificial intelligence or machine learning.
I have one more question.
Sure.
What would you tell the young Lucille at work?
The young Lucille at work?
Yeah.
Enjoy what you're doing. If you don't enjoy it, move on. Make sure that your family is fine, and always check, because you don't ever think everything's fine. You need to check in, and basically also check in with your team, to check in and say, how am I doing? What can I do better? Always think of, don't feel, that you to do a good job, you have to know that people can tell you something. and tell you if you've done something wrong, or tell you if you've, there's a better way of doing something, and take that with a grain of salt and move on, and take that with, okay, let's move forward. Yours is a better idea. Your idea is not always the best idea.
And it's okay.
It's okay.
Check in and fix things immediately.
Check in and fix and make sure you're okay with your people. Check in with your people. How am I doing? What can I do better? How do we move? What are some ideas that you see that we should be doing? Simple questions.
So would that include check your ego at the door?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
That's the funniest thing is I don't recognize an ego, but I maybe I have one, but I'm not sure I do. I guess we all have an ego of some kind. But yeah, you do. Ego doesn't help you. Ego doesn't help you.
Well, I have thoroughly enjoyed this conversation.
I have too.
Thank you so much for taking the time to be our guest today. And if any of the viewers would like to get in touch with you, especially for mentoring, I'm sure there's a lot of people that would love to have you as a mentor. How can they get a hold of you? Are you on LinkedIn?
I'm
email?
on LinkedIn. Okay. Lucille Dwyer.
Okay.
I'm on LinkedIn, and I have my whole profile there, so you can see everything. And sure, anybody has any questions or wants to talk, I'm available.
So you guys hear that? Connect on LinkedIn. Just mention that you saw her on Coffee Tech Talk.
I'm going to tell you, this is the first time I've ever done something like this.
And you did amazing.
It
was great. You did awesome. Thank you everyone for watching us and listening today. And I have to remind you to make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Coffee Tech Talk. And if you have any questions for us, you can contact us at connect@coffeetechtalk.show. Other than that, Jay, do you have anything else?
Until next time.
Until next time.
Bye.